Welcome to episode 40, 43. Did that come up right? 43 to Two Dudes in Movie. We are doing our second episode. We did on a Zoom call. Our first one we did was a bonus features, which you guys haven't listened to yet, so I haven't posted it. But let's get into what we've been watching.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, I've been watching Parks and Rec, obviously, still watching that, going hard.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you at? Like, what season?
Season 2, almost done with season 2.
Okay.
Just watched the episode where Sweetums takes over the concession stands.
Sweetums sucks.
Got caught up on the Clone Wars. The new episode was like better than the last one, but still not, great. I don't know.
I haven't watched it, so I don't know.
It was better, but it's still not.
Yeah.
Not my jam.
Still a little
how many episode arc is this? Is it like a 4-episode arc?
I assume it's going to be 4 episodes.
Probably, yeah.
So they have 2 episodes to get their act together.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Finished Chernobyl.
Yeah, what you think?
Really good. Really impressed with the show stylistically, but also like with their content. It's so interesting. I don't know very much or didn't know very much about Chernobyl beforehand, so this is just really new to me.
It was in the same boat. What did you think of the last episode, the courtroom episode?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I think the courtroom drama is really appealing for a lot of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
We see that a lot in a lot of different mediums, but I thought it was very interesting that, like I said last week, that they showed his suicide in the first episode, the very, very beginning.
Yeah. And
so you knew that was where it was headed, even though you didn't know it was going to happen before that.
Yeah. You're not sure why.
Yeah, you're not sure why. So, and I didn't realize it at the time, obviously in the pilot episode, the first episode, but it was during I went back and watched the first 5 minutes or so of that first episode after this episode 5 ended.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes place at the exact time 2 years later.
Yeah.
The explosion, which is really cool that he did that. But anyway, I was really blown away with how crazy of a situation that was. And like people,
how mishandled it was.
Yeah. I was just kept going from like really bad decision to like even worse decision.
Should we do in-depth bonus features on it?
Yeah, that would be really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. I honestly feel like I need to rewatch it just to get like a better feel for it, because I feel like I'd missed a lot of stuff in it. But I would for sure be down to do a bonus feature.
It's cool because like since I've rewatched it, like there's a lot of stuff the first time you find out like how big of a deal that is later, and then this time when we're going through, or the second time rewatching it, it's cool going seeing like you're like, oh my gosh, that's insane. Like you're seeing you're caught up. It's like almost like you've learned it and you're coming back and rewatching. You just see the magnitude of things and just like, you're like, oh my gosh. But I think a bonus feature would definitely be good on that.
Yeah, and I liked in episode 5 how they went back to the first episode in the control room. And the explosion, you actually get the giant explosion that I wanted in the first episode. You actually get that in the 5th episode in the form of a flashback, which is pretty cool. So I enjoyed it a lot. I think the 5th episode is probably my favorite one, just because it's the last one and it ties everything together.
Yeah, I think it won like best drama series at like whatever the big TV show awards are. Mm-hmm. That was at the Golden Globe, not the Golden Globes.
I think it won best Emmy for miniseries.
Yeah, Emmy,
something like that.
Yeah.
If we were to do top 25 TV shows, that would sneak in there for me somewhere. I don't know where, but it'd be in there somewhere.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
I watched 2 movies this week on Disney Plus. I watched the new Aladdin.
Live action with Will Smith.
With Will Smith. It was okay. It was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I had extremely low expectations. Have either of y'all seen it?
Nope.
No, I don't really care to.
Yeah, it was Callie's night to pick, and she picked Aladdin. So, which, like I said, it was okay. It wasn't great. Wasn't terrible. I thought it was going to be absolutely horrible, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Will Smith actually, it was pretty funny. It was kind of cringy at moments because it was Will Smith, and I was just like, come on, man. But
gotta
get that Disney check.
Yeah, but he had some funny moments, some really funny parts.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of screwed up Jafar's character, in my opinion. I like the original Aladdin a lot. But anyway, and then we watched Saving Mr. Banks, which is actually another Disney movie about how the Mary Poppins movie gets made, and Tom Hanks plays Walt Disney. And it was actually pretty good. It wasn't like, I mean, if you're not, I don't know, another Callie pick. I made like a bunch of picks recently, like in a row for us, and so she had 2 movies in a row that I let her watch. Nice. It was good. It was interesting because Mary Poppins, the writer from the books, was very, very, very against making the movie. And obviously the movie ended up becoming like super famous and made a bunch of money. It's still one of the most popular Disney movies of all time. But she was extremely against it and basically was at the very end of her like last straw and didn't have any money left and had to like try to sell out to Disney, but had like all these stipulations about how she wanted the movie made and whatever. But it was really interesting. But it was okay. So biggest thing I watched this week was Chernobyl. Best thing I watched this week was Chernobyl, by far.
I haven't watched much. I've had a lot of personal life dealings going on. So, but I watched the first 3 episodes of Tiger King. I finally caved.
Nice.
And it's been the talk of the internet. And so I was like, all right, I mean, this happens in my own state. I am aware of who Joe Exotic is. So I'm like, I might as well check it out. And it's all right. I think just the real appeal of it is kind of just the craziness of it, because it is very wild. Just like because they follow these 3 different like exotic tiger people from across the nation, and it's a crazy world tigers are, being in the business of tigers. And so I think that's the draw of it, just the crazy personalities. I don't think it's that great. It's more just like, you're like, no way this happened, but it happened. And so
I'll be watching that pretty much as soon as I'm done with Parks and Rec.
Yeah, it's because like one lady, like, she definitely killed her husband, like 100%, and like she's just not.
I've seen those T-shirts. I think.
Yeah.
T-shirts, or are they? I think they're T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen those. Yeah.
One of the guys, he's definitely leading a cult, but it's just like they're like, no, that's not like a cult or anything. It's just kind of, this is how it is.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but you're like, no, you definitely killed your husband. You definitely, like, it's crazy when you think the most sane person on the show is Joe Exotic.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's what I've been watching. Paul, what do you got?
So I'm also watching Parks and Rec. I think AJ and I are about at the same part today. I watched last night was the episode with Fred Armisen in it. It's one of my favorites.
Have you guys,
like the general guy or
the sister? From Venezuela.
Yes. Yeah. Have you seen there's a meme. It's like a meme / GIF of that clip of him go to jail.
Yeah.
And it's like new Corona laws be like, he says straight to jail.
That's awesome.
It's so funny. My brother sent that to me this morning.
That's funny.
Really funny. It's a classic.
I watched a couple of stand-up comedy specials. Watched another Sebastian Maniscalco. I can't recommend that guy enough.
I texted you earlier this week asking what his name was, and we watched I think half of one of his specials, and he's hilarious.
Dude, he's funny, man.
Half because it was late, but
dude. He's got 3 on Netflix, and 2 of them are really good. The one, they're all 3 good, but there's one where it's from a few years ago. It's not as good as the 2 newer ones. I don't remember.
We're watching his old, like the one from 2012.
Okay, I mean, it's still good. It's still funny. Yeah. It's got its parts, but the other 2, the more recent ones are solid. And then I watched 7 for the first time.
Interesting,
dude. Yeah, first time I've ever seen it. I really enjoy that movie.
Yeah, that's good.
It was I did not expect it to be as dark as it was. I mean, like, I knew going in it like it was a serial killer, 7 deadly sins thing, and all that. But I did not, like, I was like, oh my gosh, this movie is dark, and it got dark in a hurry.
Well, but every single way that they kill someone is, like, insane.
Dude. Yeah. But I like that movie a lot. And then I watched Rise of Skywalker also this week.
Love it.
Dude, better or worse than the first time you saw
it? Let's see. I mean, It was about
Did
the
you see it
same.
twice in the theater?
Well, yeah, I saw it twice in the theaters, but I mean, it like I wouldn't say better. I would say as good as. I wouldn't say it's any worse. So
Okay.
it's Star Wars. I love Star Wars
Yeah.
no matter what. I mean, I'm
how
gonna
I feel.
buy.
Why not?
I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna watch it. You know, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
disown it. But I mean, no, it's not the best, but still good, still fun movie.
Mm.
And then right before this, Jane and I actually started watching Community.
Yes.
So we're starting to watch
It's on Netflix.
because it's on Netflix now.
Okay,
but
everyone out there who has been like somewhat interested in Community but hasn't had access to it, now that you have access to it, go watch the first season. Hit me up. Let me know what you think because it's awesome.
Yeah. So
You met Ken Jeong's character yet?
well, see, that was the bad part is we were making dinner and then we were sitting down to eat and I was like, I want to start Community, and I went to like put my plate in the sink and I was like, oh shoot, we're starting podcast in like 5 minutes, and so we were in the middle of an episode, and I was like,
dang.
I gotta stop, I gotta pause it.
Dude, yeah, Ken Jeong is the Spanish teacher, and he is one of my favorite characters. Like, there's like
funny.
the main group, and they're all like really funny.
Yeah.
One of my favorite like side character by far is Ken Jeong.
I agree.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's
great
it.
show. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I mean, it's like so many people in it that now like you see everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who's the like the dean or whatever.
Oh yeah, Craig Pelton.
I was like, dude.
I forgot his real name. I just know his name is Craig Pelton.
But
yeah, he's like the host of the Stranger Things like talk show or whatever.
oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I forget what that show's called. Beyond Stranger Things or something like that.
Okay.
And then Joel McHale has his own show.
Yeah.
And then Donald Glover's just like stupid famous now. So,
Yeah.
which is funny because he was a nobody. Not a nobody, but he wasn't really anything until this show.
Yeah.
Just crazy. Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters too. Troy is so funny.
Abed. Him and Abed are
Oh, dude, Abed. Yeah, that's just such a great show. Okay. Top fives this week.
Top five.
Top five.
So top 5 Brad Pitt movies.
Top
Yeah.
5.
Dude, so I went on IMDb and I just like scrolled through all of his movies. There's like 75 Brad Pitt
He's got a lot.
He's
of
done a lot of
movies.
stuff.
Insane.
Some I haven't heard of.
Yeah, no, me too. Well, and some of the stuff like, but when he was like really young, I'm like, I had no idea.
Yeah, like Thelma and Louise.
Yeah.
Blonde hair.
Yeah. Okay, for me, I'm gonna go ahead and say my honorable mentions. I have 4 of them. I could not decide which one to get rid of.
4.
Dang, I have 3.
And okay, so I said 7 because that movie is really good, but I like his character. He's not the lead character necessarily, but he's still like really good.
Yeah.
Troy, I make fun of Troy a lot because it's kind of a dumb, like cheesy movie, but it's actually kind of like low.
He's cool as Achilles.
Low key, really good. And
yeah.
then Achilles is like super cool in that movie. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him the nod for Troy.
Yeah.
And then I just said Oceans. I didn't necessarily pick an Oceans movie. I just said Oceans because
In
like
general.
pick a movie. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd probably pick 13 just because it's the best movie. And then I said World War Z. I gave World War Z an honorable mention.
Okay.
So I liked him in this movie a lot. I've seen it before, probably 3 or 4 years ago, but I watched it again today.
So did I.
Yeah, he's just really good. He's a great father figure. He's almost like Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar a little bit. He's that same-ish character.
I get that, yeah.
But a little bit, obviously a little bit closer to home and a little bit more accessible.
I see that comparison.
But he plays that role really well. So
Yeah.
those are my honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm. I have one. It's just Troy, and it's kind of like you said earlier. Like Achilles is probably the coolest thing in that whole movie.
100%.
And I think Brad Pitt's like, if you want a character to be cool, you cast Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And,
and I feel like that was his prime. Like that was like prime Brad Pitt, like in his 30s, like just killing people. Like early 2000s, prime.
Yeah.
Prime Brad Pitt.
Yeah, dude. I have 3. Oh no, I have 4. Well, I kind of did what AJ did and like group the Oceans movies. I grouped 12 and 13, and then I did World War Z also, and then Inglourious Bastards is an honorable mention.
Nice.
Love his role in that movie. I think I think he's got the most quotable lines in that movie.
No doubt.
Lieutenant Aldo Rain.
Aldo Rain. I want my scalps.
No doubt.
Gorlami. And then see, that's the problem is his accent is so thick that I just make fun of it. But his role is so good.
My number 5 is Moneyball. I think he kills it in Moneyball. That's a great movie. He is dynamic in that movie. He's interesting. He's compelling. He's got a lot of internal conflict in that movie. He's really strong, and I like that movie. So put that one on there for me, number 5.
My number 5 is Inglourious Basterds.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Because his character is like the standout character. Him and Christopher Walken, I think, is a great like good guy, bad. Or not Christoph Waltz. Sorry, that's like what 2 weeks in a row I've gotten the guy's name wrong.
All I could think of was Christopher Walken's scene in
Pulp Fiction.
I was like, I didn't think Christopher Walken was in that movie, and I was like, no, Christopher Walken's in a Tarantino movie. I just can't get him. I get him all mixed
Christoph
up.
Waltz. Yeah,
I thought it was.
But they're a great good guy, bad guy pairing. And then his lines, like, we're gonna be doing one thing only, that's killing Nazis. And his delivery is great, and him playing a military figure, I think, is like probably his bread and butter.
Yeah, for sure.
My number 5 is Ocean's 11.
Oh wow,
that is my favorite of the movies. I love his role in that because he's kind of like the number 2 like leader of the group, but he has some of the funniest scenes, and they're just so low key. Like one of the scenes when they're first getting the group together, and they him and Clooney are like sitting in a bar, and Brad Pitt's like all like leaned over, and he's like just watching TV, and Clooney's like talking in the background, and it's like he's having a discussion like completely with himself, and Brad Pitt's just like stoic. And I'm just like, it's so funny because he's not saying anything, but like, because Clooney's like, we need one more guy? Yeah, we need one more guy. And he's just sitting there. I don't know, like the way he just acted without even talking at all in that movie really got me. So.
Nice. AJ, your number 4? AJ?
My number 4 is Allied.
Yeah.
You guys seen that one?
Yeah, I haven't. I was trying to watch a few Brad Pitt movies that I hadn't seen this week, and I only got to 7. But that was on my list. I want to watch that for sure.
Yeah, Allied's really good. I think it's on Prime.
It's on something. Here, I'll check.
It's either on Prime or Hulu. It's one of the two. But
yeah, I don't know. I
really liked that one. I watched it when it came out. It was very underrated, underappreciated. Didn't make very much money.
It flew right under the radar.
But yeah, I remember catching it and liking it, and then I think I might actually own it.
It's on none of the streaming services.
Really?
Yeah.
It used to be on Prime. I know Prime like recycles their content all the time.
On Vudu, YouTube, and Google Play Movies.
But it was really great. He kills it in that movie. He kind of plays a military guy, but more of a spy, and kind of a combination. And he's very compelling. A lot of internal conflict again. His wife in that movie is really, really interesting too, and so their relationship's very.
Aaron Contolar.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, I like that movie a lot. It's a great movie. He kills it in that movie. So it's my number 4.
My number 4 is Fury.
Ooh, yeah.
And we reviewed that movie. That was pretty early on into the podcast.
30 episodes ago. Something
like that. But man, he plays the leader of that tank, that little tank regiment. He plays him beautifully. And like I said earlier with Inglourious Basterds, I think if you put him in a military role, like he's gonna kill it no matter what, because he plays out like that officer, the higher in command character, very well. And just him being like he leads them, because there's all those different personalities. I think he brings them kind of all together, and he knows how to treat each person. He's a very good leader, I'd say. In that movie, he plays it very well. But yeah, it's my number 4.
Nice. My number 4 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Ooh,
nice.
Yep. His role in this movie again. He for me, his roles are I like him for like really funny parts, but he also does the serious thing really well. And this is kind of a mix because he's not like a comedic actor really, but just stuff they write for him and he does is funny. Like some of the lines in his delivery, like when he's talking to Bruce Lee, or in the and they have that little fight, and what does he say? Where he's talking about like beating him up, and he's like, cause I don't remember. He makes like some short joke, and he's just like straight faced, but like it's so funny.
That's a great one.
So.
Number 3 for me is Inglourious Bastards. He kills it in that movie. You guys have already talked about it. I like that movie a lot. It's one of my favorite Tarantino movies, but honestly, like Luke said earlier, Brad Pitt and Christoph Waltz carry that movie. And
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. They're both so good.
You gotta do.
More cowbell, right?
Yeah.
More cowbell.
So I like Inglourious Bastards a lot. He kills it in that movie. He's funny. He's interesting. He's kind of a great hero. My favorite scene in that movie is whenever he tells the lady that he can speak Italian. And they go in there and he said, oh my gosh, he speaks like 2 words of Italian.
Buongiorno.
And they're like, she's like, you told me you speak Italian. And he's like, no, I said I speak more Italian than everybody else. And then they all turn around and they like nod at him.
Yeah, because one of the guys they get for that like doesn't even speak at all, so he's just quiet.
This is so funny. But yeah, that's my number 3.
Nice. My number 3 is Burn After Reading.
Wow, I never saw that one.
Never seen that one.
It's interesting.
That one's good.
Interesting.
I like it because he plays a different character. I think what we're used to Brad Pitt playing. He plays kind of like the goofy, like fitness guy who's kind of dumb at the same time, and it's cool seeing him in a different role. And it shows that he has that range because a lot of his roles, though, I think we've kind of listed are somewhat serious. But this one, you kind of get him in a comedic dumb guy role, and he plays it beautifully. So I mean, I suggest people watch that movie. It's interesting for sure.
Yeah, he's kind of a goof in that movie.
He's funny. There's a gif of him that like it's like him sitting with like dancing on. He's like so I mean that's pretty recognizable. That's the movie it's from. But yeah, that's my number 3.
Nice. My number 3 is Seven. Believe it or not, watched it for the first time this week. Wow. And that's why I wanted to, because I wanted to watch Seven and I wanted to watch Fight Club, but I didn't get a chance, but I'm still going to do it. Because, most people think of a Brad Pitt movie, they're probably going to think of probably those 2 movies, or, a few others, but just, kind of immediately those. But, man, it was just so, kind of like AJ said a little bit ago, it was just so iconic, but at the same time, it's a very early role for him, so he's kind of like the new beat cop, just gets transferred to Morgan Freeman's precinct and is kind of learning the ropes and everything, and he's just so raw because he wants to like prove himself and all this stuff, and then it like he gets all invested in it and turns and it gets crazy. And dude, I'd forgotten. I knew it going in that Kevin Spacey was the bad guy. And the really interesting thing to me that they did was in the like opening credits, they didn't show his name. So like apparently until the movie came out, like it was a big secret who was playing the bad guy.
Ooh.
And I was like, that's really interesting. And then at the very end of it, like once the credits start rolling, that's the first thing you see is Kevin Spacey as whatever his name was. And I was like, that was a really cool, just little thing that they did. That has nothing to do with Brad Pitt, but I thought it was a cool little effect of the movie. But that's my number 3.
That is cool. My number 2 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's my number 2.
Really?
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I like this movie. I need to watch it again. I've only seen it the one time in the theater. I keep saying I need to watch it again. I really do want to watch it again. But
step your game up, AJ.
I know. Him and DiCaprio are so good together, and they're so funny, but they're still friends, and they're compelling. And he kind of has his own little story going on during the whole movie that kind of helps, like, kind of lighten the tone I guess.
That he killed his wife?
Well, that doesn't lighten the tone, but his storyline is, I would say, more lighthearted than DiCaprio's.
Because you follow him probably as much as you do DiCaprio in the film.
He's almost,
totally.
I would say, I think DiCaprio's for sure the main character, but I think Brad Pitt gets almost as much screen time.
Yeah.
But anyway, he kills it in that role. He's funny, but he's also serious. He's a good friend. He's a good dude. So I like him a lot in that movie.
No, I totally agree. I don't have much to add on, but yeah, his delivery and all of his lines are pretty great. Like whenever he goes to the ranch, the hippie ranch, and they gosh, his tire is like, now you're gonna fix this tire, and he's serious, but it's like he's completely serious, but his delivery is different than what you usually see, and it works very well. It's very cool.
Fix it, dude.
He won an Oscar, right?
Yeah, I won
for this one,
supporting actor.
Yep.
Very much deserved, I think. But
totally.
I agree. That's my AJ and I's number 2. Paul,
my number 2 is Moneyball.
Oh, AJ's number 5?
AJ, yep. Number 5. This, I don't remember. I think this movie's in my top 25. Anyway, I don't know. I can't remember. This is, I'm a big baseball fan. I've talked about it probably 5 or 6 times on the show. Just his passion and the way he portrayed this character. And I think, I didn't really know him, but I remember when this happened, like the story in the movie, because I remember seeing it with them winning the 20 games in a row
or whatever.
So I remember that, but I didn't know like all this stuff going on and things like that. So it was a really cool history movie to like see, like a sports movie. And it was a really interesting thing too, with like most sports movies that are like historical or based on a true story or whatever are from like a while back. Like you think of Miracle from the 70s, or Remember the Titans, or
Angels in the Outfield.
Angels in the Outfield, other things like that. Whereas this one, like it came out, 2014, 15, and I mean it's like it happened like 10 years before that or something, and I was like, wow. Mm-hmm. So, but I just appreciate that movie a lot. It's one of my favorite.
I need to watch it because I recognize that it's a good movie, but I think what's holding me off is like I'm not a baseball fan, and so like the interest level for me, like at the surface level, I guess isn't there. But I guess because you guys talk it up, I know AJ's not a baseball fan. I'm gonna have to watch it.
I think part of it.
I'm not a baseball fan, but it is. It's a really good movie.
It's a cool sports story.
It's a great movie. Because it's an underdog story, it fits every genre you want it to fit, but it's not necessarily about baseball. Like it is about baseball, but it's not like it's kind of like it's kind of like Whiplash.
Yeah,
like I'm not a musician and I don't necessarily care about jazz music, but the movie's really good,
Yeah,
so it's like it's kind of like that.
There's not a whole lot of them actually playing baseball. It's all like the stuff in the back office.
It's very interesting to me. Even though I don't necessarily like the sport that much.
Yeah.
Okay, number ones. You guys want to guess each other's number ones? Anybody?
I think AJ and I have the same thing.
I have Fury.
Okay.
And I'm going to say Luke. I don't know what
Luke already said Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I know.
What is it?
I don't know. Okay,
World War Z.
Yeah, maybe World War Z, actually. My number 1 is Fury. I think this is not necessarily the best movie he's ever made, but it's his best performance in a movie, if that makes sense. Like if we were going to rank all of Brad Pitt's movies based on the movie itself, Fury wouldn't be number 1. But if we're going to rank his performances, then they would be number 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He's so good in this movie. Yeah. He's so interesting. He's so kind of divided. He wants to be a good person, but he's in this horrible situation, so he has to do terrible things. Yeah. He has to be a leader, but he also has to like take care of his own kind of personal problems and personal conflict and all that kind of stuff. He's just so interesting, the way he talks, the way he leads, the way he cares about his soldiers. But anyway, Paul, go ahead and talk about Fury real quick. We'll wait to hear Luke's.
Yeah. So I just really, kind of like AJ said, and I like how it was very similar to the Tom Hanks role in Saving Private Ryan, where he's like kind of mysterious and everything. Like he doesn't like he has to be strong for his men, so he's not gonna like like where you've got Shia LaBeouf's character who's like the real religious one and Bible verses and things like that, and then like near the end, like at the very like when they're getting ready for that last battle, he's like, that passage in Revelations, and then Brad Pitt says it, and it just like it just things like that really make me appreciate a good role. But the way he portrayed it was just perfect, and just like the scenes where he'd have to, like the beginning where one of his guys just gets killed, and he has to like replace him, and he's being like real tough and everything, and then he kind of goes off on his own and smokes a cigarette and like just like collapses. He's just like he can't do it anymore, but he can't do it in front of his men either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's a real person on the inside, no matter what. I mean,
it's really good. That's such a good movie too. I like it a lot.
So good.
Okay, Luke.
Back to the Future.
World
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I'm just kidding. It's Ad Astra.
Oh, okay.
I thought you might go that route because neither of us had seen that movie, and you just kind of sleep in like that. But.
Yeah, no. So this I think this is his best. And then, so after I'd made my list, I kind of wanted to go see how like accurate I was with like some other like Brad Pitt rankings, like of his movies. And Ad Astra was number 2 or 3 for a lot of them.
Interesting.
So
did you rank yours based on performance or based on the movie as a whole?
Performance, for sure. And this one's cool because I'm gonna relate it a lot to movies where the person's he's not by himself, but in a sense he is. It's kind of like a Castaway kind of thing where there's a lot of like there's like a bunch of internal monologue, and his whole character, his thing is like he doesn't get stressed or anything. It's like his heartbeat's never gone above like 40 something, I think.
Whoa.
And so he just doesn't get stressed, and like the whole thing, because he's sent back on a mission to go find his dad who's doing research on like black holes or something. Over the course of the trip, you see his stress level kind of go up and stuff and change. You hear the internal monologue. It's a lot of psychological things he has to go through, and like his inner conflict with that, like in a way he's experienced a lot of this for the first time. And it's cool to see him because it's very much a character movie, I think. And so that's what Brad Pitt really plays very well, characters. And so I think it's someone that likes space movies as well. This is I like it a lot. It flew under the radar last year.
Yeah.
It was up for an Oscar for like sound mixing, I think, which very well deserved. It didn't win, but it was nominated. Very well deserved. But yeah, it's a great Brad Pitt movie if you're looking for it.
Last year was kind of a tough crowd to break through.
There was a lot of good movies. It was hard.
Yeah. That was fun. Good list.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Bradley Pitts.
Good stuff.
Bradley Pitts.
What you got for us?
All right. So this week we watched.
We're not currently watching.
Yeah. Watched World War Z. A former UN employee, Jerry Lane, traverses the world in a race against time to stop a zombie pandemic that is toppling armies and governments and threatening to destroy humanity.
I didn't know his name was Jerry till like halfway through the movie. I was
dude, like there's so much about in this movie that you're like, okay, wait, what? Yeah. Came out in 2013. Mark Foster was the director. Brad Pitt obviously was the main role. I mean, there are a few. Nobody really else major in it. A few people you've like seen, like you can like, oh yeah, I know that guy who's the like the leader of the group in South Korea or whatever, and things like that. But nobody crazy. As far as ratings go, IMDb was a 7 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes was a 66. Metacritic was a 63.
It was pretty close.
Pretty close. A little on the low side, I felt like, but hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
Budget of $190 million.
Wow.
I'm gonna guess
all those CG zombies.
Yeah, all the effects.
And I read about it. I read about it a little bit because I don't know, the ending. We'll talk about the ending later, but the ending kind of felt not weird, but it kind of felt out of place for the movie. And so I read about it online, and they said that they had originally written the third act and shot it and done everything and then the studio said they didn't like it, so they had to go back and reshoot and redo
Don't you
everything.
hate the studios?
And so they had to redo everything, which cost a bunch of money to get all the people back, all that CGI and everything that they had to redo. So that's partially why the budget was so high.
Stupid studios.
Well, it earned...
I think it was better. Reading about it, this ending is better than the original ending.
Really?
But I'm still not a huge fan of. Anyway, we'll talk about
it. It earned $540 million. So
it definitely made money.
It made its money back. Yeah. And then after losing the ball a little bit on the last few of not looking up awards, I just started Googled World War Z and awards, and it won the MTV Movie Award for Most Frightened Performance.
Yes, love it.
I was like, oh man! And then so I just
Brad Pitt,
his role, like he was most frightened or whatever. And so it was like a Wikipedia link, and so I looked at it, and it was like most scared as.
Oh my god!
And I was like, dude, that's hilarious. So I thought that was funny.
That's funny.
I'm glad we watched this movie. It's one I've been meaning to rewatch for a long time because I initially watched it when it came out in 2013.
Who picked this one?
That was me. Yeah, I really like this movie. Have
we all seen it? We'd all seen it before, right?
Yeah. I saw it in theaters. I saw it opening night.
Okay. See, I saw it when it came out. I was in high school, and so I remember seeing it. I don't remember if it was in the theater at my friend's house or whatever. I was pretty quick after it came out, and I haven't seen it again since then.
Yeah.
So I remember liking it, but I hadn't obviously thought about it very much since then. But it was fun to watch again.
Yeah.
I watched it today in the dark by myself, and it was kind of
nice.
It's good stuff.
Only way to watch zombie movies.
Dude, 100%. 100%.
I love a good zombie movie.
Yeah. Okay. 5 sections we scored based off. The first one is the idea/premise. For me, I said it was an interesting setup with the virus. And how quickly it spread. Like the news clippings at the beginning of the movie kind of tell you about it and whatever. But then it boom, all of a sudden comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And hits really, really, really hard. So for those reasons, I think it's pretty interesting and pretty I'm not gonna say original, but more creative than other zombie movies. But it is still not original. It's somewhat original, but not. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to make a zombie movie original.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of the same boat that Knives Out was in last week. They tried to make it innovative and new and creative, but it's just hard to make something in that genre. So I gave it a 7 out of 10 for this section because they tried, but it's just hard. So I didn't feel like it deserved anything higher than that or lower. It just that's where it ended up for me.
Okay. I gave it a 5. I mostly dropped it down because it's a zombie movie, and this was hard for me because I absolutely love zombie movies. 28 weeks later, 28 days later, I Am Legend, all that stuff. I'm all for it, and so it was hard for me to give it a 5. But something I did like that they did with this movie is the whole. The end of it wasn't finding the cure, but it was finding a way for them to deal kind of with the zombies. I thought the camo thing was super cool. Kind of injecting them with this, with a terminal disease in a way that masks them because the host of the virus wants to go to a healthy host, not a sick host. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, like AJ said, I think in the end, it is just another zombie movie. They did a couple things different, but I mean, I guess I've played enough zombie video games and watched enough zombie movies where it didn't feel too different.
Yeah. It's really similar to I Am Legend, specifically that movie, because the beginning is so similar. Somebody's trying, somebody has a virus, and it's whatever.
But this is the beginning, not the middle of the virus state.
Right.
Yeah.
Lifespan.
Which, as opposed to The Walking Dead, which just he falls asleep and he wakes up and it's boom,
Yeah.
So anyway, it was really, which we'll talk about this later, I guess, but for me, it was very weird watching it in our current situation with the coronavirus.
And that's why we moved it up.
And that's why. Okay, so this has been on the schedule for us for a while. We schedule out kind of our show for 6 months or so with all these different movies that we want to watch, and so we pushed this one up to right now because, well, first of all, we're in quarantine, so that's why we're recording like this.
Yeah.
But second of all, because that's how movies like this start, is with like a virus. And so I was like watching the news, or I was watching the movie, and the news were going, and I was like, man, that just sounds so familiar. Virus, one case here, one case there, and then it kind of starts getting more serious. And then I was like, maybe I should go like look outside and make sure like none of this junk's like going down.
There's some crazy people running around.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, I should go check out.
Those are some fast zombies too,
dude. Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, that for me that was kind of an extra on top of like Luke said, it's not super original, but for me it hit home more because of our current situation than it would have otherwise, I guess. But Paul, what'd you say?
So I agree wholeheartedly with what you guys said. Not anything new. I do agree that the fast zombies were cool. That was the first movie I'd seen with fast zombies. I think there are a few other.
Before or after I Am Legend? I can't remember.
After.
This was after. I Am Legend was like 2009. Okay. This was 2013.
Okay. Yeah. I Am Legend zombies are like kind of fast, but not like on this level.
I don't know that
and they're not necessarily zombies either.
They're that's the thing is I don't really classify that as a zombie movie, but it's like same kind of thing. But so for those reasons I agree with Luke. I gave it a 5. I mean the fast zombies and everything, it was a different spin, but I did really appreciate how quick it was. They like you're like 10 minutes in and you're like, it's a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, 100%.
I did appreciate that. I probably could have knocked it up a point for that, but I felt like a 5 was.
Yeah, I liked how they were dropped right in the middle of it. They weren't isolated.
Yeah,
it wasn't like a quick fast forward to like 3 years into the apocalypse, and he's like making it by himself.
Yeah,
I liked that a lot. I liked the mystery aspect of the movie. Which for me, this is kind of more of a plot point we can get into later. But I liked how it felt like a mystery. It didn't feel like a survival movie.
Figuring out like the patient zero stuff.
Yeah, and he was he was basically trying to solve a mystery. He wasn't trying to survive. Survival is a part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think those are kind of like we're all kind of saying the same thing. I think I was just a little bit more gracious.
You gave it a 7?
I gave it a 7. Yeah, I did like the way that they tried. Like it felt like they were making like conscious decisions to try to be unique and try to be different. And the fast zombies were cool. I liked that they became docile after a while. Like if they didn't have any stimulus around, or dormant, if they didn't have any stimulus around them, they became dormant. They would just kind of like, that was really, really interesting to me. Like in The Walking Dead, all we get basically are those types of zombies, because they're dormant for so long. That's why they're called walkers. It was also interesting to me that the zombies like used each other to like build like
the ladder thing.
Yeah, like that's crazy. But okay, anyway, our next section that we score is character. I gave character an 8, and the reason I gave it an 8 is because of Brad Pitt. Okay, the reason I knocked it 2 points is because of everybody else. Like there wasn't anybody that I disliked. I liked everybody. But there wasn't anybody that I was like, I loved whenever he was on screen. Give that guy more screen time. It was just like Brad Pitt and Brad Pitt. That was like it.
Yeah.
He killed it. I thought he was extremely interesting. His character was super mysterious at the beginning, kind of had this like shady job we kind of didn't know about. And then obviously we see what that job is. He's very skilled in different things. He's very smart. We see him wrapping the magazines around his arms and legs, tying the knife to the gun. Anyway, he's just a really cool character. Yeah. Everybody else for me was like, meh. I guess I liked the guy in South Korea until he died. He was kind of a cool little character for like 5 or 10 minutes.
Like that unit's leader or whatever he was.
The guy with the backwards hat. I have no idea what his name was. But,
so he got
he's somewhat interesting for me. The Israeli chick was cool. She didn't do anything good or bad necessarily for me. She was just like kind of there,
she did good.
Yeah, and like chopped her arm off. But
right.
The only other character that I liked was the CIA guy that was in prison. He was cool. I liked him.
To pull his tooth out.
Yeah, I liked him.
He took like a good minute to do that too.
He was cool. I liked him, but like literally, that's all. I'm drawing a blank. I can't even talk about any other characters because there really weren't any.
Yeah,
But so
the
for me, I gave it an
family
8.
and yeah.
I feel like an 8 was a pretty good score because it didn't deserve a 9 or a 10 in my opinion, but it didn't deserve to get knocked down a bunch of points because they weren't bad characters. They just were like, but they're not supposed to be, that interesting. They're just kind of there. So, Luke, what'd you give it?
I gave this section a 6. I have my reasons. So first one is that kids suck.
Yeah, but it makes them more vulnerable. Come on.
For the they included like the stereotypical like kids that just like all they do is just stupid stuff that makes everyone's lives harder.
Like having asthma. God.
No, okay. I'm with you.
Yeah, the asthma thing. That was silly.
Okay, I'm with you, but
and then her like hiding in the car, like in the floorboards. And they're just weighing them down.
They're kids. They're weighing them down. They're kids. Come on.
They should have thrown them to the wolves.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
No, okay. I hear what you're saying, and immediately what comes to mind are the kids in A Quiet Place, and they're like very, very like with it, right? And they know all the rules. They know how everything operates, but they've been in that like apocalyptic scenario for so long. Right, like these kids are literally just like thrown into it, and so like what would a 6-year-old girl do?
They were just annoying.
Like
I was frustrated with them.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying I'm going to defend the little girls for a little bit.
And her asthma. It just felt like they were just making bad decisions right and left. Like, what's this gun doing in this closet? And Dad's like, no.
Yeah.
But hey, he found a gun.
I also said kind of what you said. Nobody really felt essential. It's any character except for Brad Pitt could have died and just been like,
yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, I was low key surprised that the doctor died. That was surprising to me. Whenever he
where he shot himself.
Yeah, that was surprising. I did not see that coming at all. And I'd seen the movie before. I totally forgot that happened.
Yeah, he says keep your
I was like, who's this character? I don't remember him at all. And then I was like, oh, that's why I don't remember him.
Yeah, because he dies. They build him up as this big guy. It's almost comedic how they build him up and they're like they just kill him really quick. That was pretty good. Something else I said. I guess I feel different about this, but I said it didn't feel like Brad Pitt. Like to me, I didn't get that feeling like I get when I watch like Fury or Inglourious Bastards or like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like this is Brad Pitt. Like he played the character well. The character was interesting and all that, but to me, it just didn't feel like Brad Pitt. Yeah, 6 for me.
Gotcha. I gave this section a 7 for a lot of the same reasons, everybody else was, you've got like the wife and the kids and their typical wife and kids. Yeah, kind of like Luke said, a little bit of a in the way kind of thing, but also a big plot device. Then you've got like his old boss that you're kind of like, okay, this guy seems to be kind of cool, trying to help him out, gets him to the ship and gets him out of Philly or New Jersey or wherever the poop they were.
New Jersey there at the end.
Yeah, and then, but yeah, none of the other characters really stood out. I did like the Israeli fighter sidekick that he has like at the set for the second half of the movie. She was cool. She held her own. She definitely held her own. She did have that big soldier mentality of like, oh yeah, she just shoot it whenever it comes near. Even if we're trying to be quiet, I'm just going to shoot it. No worries. Like, okay. But, Brad Pitt carried it. So, 7. Nothing higher, nothing less.
Which version of the movies did you guys watch?
Which version?
Yeah, there's two. There's the unrated version, and then there's the regular version. The unrated one has like 6 extra minutes of like footage.
I didn't know there were 2 versions.
Mm-hmm. I didn't notice the difference. So, I was just asking.
I watched the theatrical version.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I did too. Interesting.
Plot?
Yeah, plot. So the third section we score our movies based off of is plot. So for me, the best thing about the plot was the mystery aspect of it. The fact that it wasn't just a survival movie. It was him trying to figure things out. Yeah. And the mystery kept getting bigger, kept getting more and more elusive. Everywhere he went, there was a new piece to the puzzle that he learned, but also a new problem that he had to solve. So I thought that was very well done, very interesting, very captivating, very compelling. There were little twists and turns along the way. They weren't like any major plot twists or anything, but they were good little like twists and turns. Like Israel feels like this fortified location, and then all of a sudden it's not anymore, or whatever.
Yep.
Or they're on
human
the plane,
error, man.
Or they're on the plane, and the plane gets infested with zombies, and then they have to blow it up with a grenade, and then they have to crash land or whatever. So there were good little things that were unexpected that happened throughout the movie. I said that the climax and the resolution were interesting, but not like great. Which we can talk about that now or later, whichever you guys want. But I said that I gave the plot a 7, and I said that nothing was like particularly excellent, but nothing was like bad or out of place. Like there were no like bad spots. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I give the plot a 6. 2 6s in a row. One thing that it kind of makes sense, I guess, but the one thing that was kind of annoying, literally like everything that went wrong in this movie was like human error.
Yeah.
So like whenever they were in the plane, they were stacking up all the suitcases to keep them on the other side. The reason the zombies broke into that side of the plane was because the guy accidentally pushed the bag over and it fell and made noise, and here they came.
Yeah.
So everything.
The guy killing himself.
Yeah, the guy killing himself. Yeah. It was all human error is what it all came down to. And it was just a repetitive thing for me. Like when they were in Israel, like everything was safe until they turned on the speakers and all the zombies could hear like the frequency or just the loudness of the sounds, and they came running. So I mean that kind of got repetitive for me. Like I get it, that's gonna happen, but I was just like, it was pretty much the reason for like everything. It felt like. I said it was a little.
It's hard. No, I agree with you. It's hard to. I was thinking about that too. It's hard to not do that in a zombie movie because zombies are dumb, and so it's like you can't have a villain because there is no villain, right?
Yeah.
And so you can't have a villain who's like interrupting the hero's plans, you know, like you can in a normal movie.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that too, and I almost docked a point for that. But then I thought about it. I was like, well, zombies are stupid, and so they're just going to react like animals. And so in order to make problems happen, there has to be like either an incompetence or an ignorance factor or some kind of stupid decision that somebody makes. And so I agree with you. I just wanted to point that out, that I think that it would be very hard for them to not to do that because zombies are dumb and they don't really think, and they can't really, choose to make like the hero's life miserable or more difficult.
Yeah. I said it was predictable in some cases, which I don't think the ending was as predictable with like the cure that they came up with, because earlier I said I really like that. But like throughout, you can kind of take a guess. Like when they're on the plane, you're like, they are not safe.
Right.
100%. They are not safe. I said there's some regular like movie tropes in those kind of ways, like the kid having asthma. That just felt like, of course that's going to happen. Like the kids just could have been kids and like annoying, but they're like, of course they're going to be asthma, and that's going to cause another thing to tumble. But yeah, I gave it a 6. Another 6 for Luke.
Well, I felt like this was one of the better sections of this movie because of mainly the part at the end of that was very original to me, infecting us with a disease to camouflage and things like that. So I did make a note of that. That's why I made it so high, because I do agree with some of the other points of like, yeah, like he doesn't put his phone on mute when they're going out to fuel the plane and it rings. But I felt like that added to the next section a lot, and that's why I kind of, so yeah, there's a, kind of like AJ said, there's a reason for those things, and but I did like also the mystery of it, to where he has to figure this out. That was a kind of a new thing for me, because I guess I'm not a big, I'm not a zombie movie aficionado, so like I hadn't seen another movie where it wasn't about surviving. It was about kind of like like AJ said, it was of trying to make it to patient 0, and so I gave it a 9.
For plot.
For plot, yeah.
Nice. Man, you brought up a point. You said like whenever turn his phone on mute when they're going to feel the plane.
Dude.
He was very calm with his wife whenever he was on the phone. Like later, I would have been like, so
Don't
you
call
told
me.
me there's got a lot of people killed.
Yeah.
You
But dude,
caused this.
and the other part about that made me like laugh at first, but then I was like, why does this make sense? Was them riding on bikes.
Because they'd be quiet.
I was like, how is riding a bike any quieter than just walking? You know?
It was silly. Yeah, it was silly.
I don't know. I was like, whatever.
Faster.
I guess it's faster, but I don't know. There were a lot of like little things like that, and
But the only people on the bikes were the people who were getting on the plane. So they were trying to get to the plane as fast as possible so that they could fill up the fuel.
okay.
But it looked ridiculous. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, riding bicycles through the rain,
The zombie apocalypse.
all they needed was a little basket on the front.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the little bell. Yeah,
You want to see Brad Pitt ride a bike in another movie? Watch Burn After Reading.
yeah.
I've only seen that one once, so I can't remember. All right.
Okay,
Conflict?
fourth section.
Yep.
Fourth section is conflict, tension, and urgency. I gave this section a 10 out of 10. I loved the tension in this movie, the urgency in this movie. The conflict's there. It's not as strong as the tension and the urgency for me, which is interesting because in most movies we talk about the conflict is the strongest of the three. So for me, the conflict was solid. Don't get me wrong, it was good. But for me, the reason that this section gets a 10 is the tension and the urgency. So many moments in this movie are extremely tense. Even the moments that aren't really that tense are still tense.
Yeah.
Like
whenever he's like the what?
When his cell phone rang.
Yeah, exactly. When the cell phone rings, like from that point on, that scene is insane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On the airplane, whenever they're trying to be quiet and they're trying to pack all the bags, even whenever he's like fixing up her arm and like putting on the bandages, like that's like super tense because it's so painful and like
blood spurting everywhere.
Yeah, nasty. The scenes whenever they're in the dark at the beginning of the movie and they're going around the apartment building.
That was really cool.
When they're in the grocery store and the guy pulls the gun out on them.
Mm-hmm. That was a cool scene. I like that one.
Dude, the scene, even the scene in South Korea whenever they first land and the door opens and all they can hear is the rain and they can hear like little like growls or whatever, and people start pointing their guns and just getting like taken out.
Mm-hmm.
Like just so many moments like that were so good. And then the urgency is outstanding. The whole movie you're in like just crunch time. Like it feels like Brad Pitt never sleeps during this movie. Like it's literally,
I don't think he does.
This movie takes place over like a 24-hour span, or maybe even less. I have no idea.
Probably.
But it feels like it's literally just a marathon, and he just is going. And like I guess he sleeps at the beginning of the movie.
Well, he sleeps after he gets knocked out once the plane crashes.
Yeah, because he got injured.
Plane crashes, he sleeps, and then he sleeps at the beginning whenever they're in the apartment with the people. But anyway, I thought this section was outstanding. I gave it a 10 out of 10. By far the strongest section, in my opinion.
I agree. I give this section an 8. I said it's really solid. The urgency, like you said, was throughout. Like there was like you were just like bam, bam, bam the entire time. There wasn't time to take a breath almost.
Yeah.
It was mostly action, I'd say, which is cool. Which is cool for me. I like seeing zombie movies where it's like nonstop action. I said the tension was pretty thick in most moments, especially like when they were going through the Parliament building, and that at that point I was getting pretty like psyched out. Like that felt almost like a horror movie-esque with the darkness and the red light that they had on them, and then you could hear the zombies moving throughout and stuff. So like that's honestly pretty scary. I was like, I would play this video game in a heartbeat. I said the conflict was there as well. I don't think it was as strong as the other two sections, but it was there was kind of some subtle overarching conflict the entire time, I think, especially like in moments you had just him trying to keep his family like safe from afar in a way. Like whenever his friend calls and he's like, I had to move, and he's like, what, and all that. There was a lot of different points to conflict, but I think it's strong, yes, but I think it's the weaker of the three. But yeah, I think an 8 feels really good for such a very solid CTU. conflict, tension, urgency.
Yeah. I gave it a 10 out of 10 also. Yeah, conflict. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're in conflict because you're trying to kill zombies and survive and things like that. But yeah, it's more of a tension for sure and an urgency thing. I mean, you guys hit it. Yeah, because I mean, you've got the scenes like you said in the stairwell with the red light, and then the one comes out and gets you a good jump scare and things like that, and then makes you have to go pause the movie because you just crapped your pants a little bit, so you're got to clean up. But but yeah, the urgency too. I mean, yeah, it did feel like it was. I think partially because it was a shorter movie too, so they kind of had to shove a lot of stuff in there. But you know, it did feel like because he's like, oh shoot, I'm in South Korea, I'm in Israel, I'm in Wales, like what? So
4 different countries in like 2 days.
Yeah, no joke.
Yeah,
he was in Korea for like 10 minutes. That was crazy.
Yeah, no something joke. Like that.
Dude, yeah.
But then at the end, just the whole that whole like from the moment like he woke up and like was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna go over here to do this. I was so tense. Like that whole that whole ending scene. Whew.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay, the last section we score movies based on is cinematic elements, where we kind of lump everything together: acting, writing, stunts, CGI, cinematography, whatever. For me, I said that the acting was good, the writing was pretty good, some of the stunts were really cool, some of the CGI was meh, you know. Some of the zombies, some of the zombies looked great the closer up they got, and some of that might have been makeup, some of that might have been CGI. And then some of the group zombie stuff and the big old mob of them kind of looked a little bit rough, a little bit outdated. I said that the cinematography for me was pretty cool. Kind of that handheld, in your face, war movie, documentary style ish. A lot of quick zooms, quick pans, a lot of, kind of jolting camera work. I thought that was really effective. It helps set the mood, helps set the tension and the urgency for sure, because the camera guys are right there with them the whole time. But for me, I give section an 8. It wasn't necessarily anything spectacular, but it was solid, really good. I thought everything that they did fit the movie really well. Even the music that they played, it wasn't overly creepy, but it was good and creepy and edgy enough,
Yeah.
A lot of things like that they made really conscious decisions that helped the movie. So I gave the section an 8. I thought it was pretty good, pretty solid.
Okay. I gave this a 7 because I said it was nothing crazy. I said the CGI was pretty hit or miss. It's for this one. It's almost like obviously we've improved a lot in the last 7 years, especially like looking at Avengers Endgame, like how great the CGI in that is.
No doubt.
Compared to this, I mean, I give it a little bit of slack because of timing, because it's almost like the zombies. Whenever you got those far shots, they almost look like they're too smooth looking in a way. There's not a whole lot of texture to them. I mean, not enough to where they look like Gumby or anything, but but you can definitely tell. And I think lighting those models are kind of difficult because I thought their lighting they seemed a little bit darker than most of the environments a lot of the times. And so I was like, CGI was pretty hit or miss, but it was still cool because seeing that many zombies like interact and like how they made that bridge up that ladder up and over the wall was really cool, and seeing them kind of stack up in the streets. I think those shots are really cool.
One of the cooler shots for me is whenever they jump on the helicopter and then the helicopter spins and falls down and blows up. Yeah. That's a really cool shot. I think they spent a lot of time and money on that one.
I thought they also had some really cool shots in there. So I'll get to the camera work as a whole here in a second, but I thought they had some cool shots. Like for instance, whenever they're in the back of the plane and then the door opens up and it's raining, I thought that was really cool. And then as well, when they were in the apartment, having that red light on them and the darkness added some like terrifying factors to it.
The flare.
Yeah,
the flare was really cool.
Was cool.
Yeah, it's a good touch.
So camera work as a whole, I'm not as into like the whole like I'm into the shakiness because yes, it builds tension and all that, kind of like what I spoke to last week when we did Knives Out. But to me, there's a point where it gets too much. Like I still kind of want to be able to see what's going on, but when you're at the point where the camera's like over here doing this, like you kind of lose me a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, I docked it for that for sure. And there's also some weird effects with the mix of like CG and the camera work as well, to where it made the zombies like it might be like a medium shot on like on a zombie like biting someone, but the zombie's still kind of blurry, and it was just it didn't look right to me, and so I docked it for that as well. But I think they had some really cool shots. So I'm gonna say the camera work as a whole was just okay, nothing crazy. Yeah.
Have you ever watched Battle of Los Angeles?
Yes.
So this movie reminded me, cinematography wise, it reminded me of that movie, where it's very much like, yeah. And okay, for me, it works sometimes. In other movies, it doesn't work. Like sometimes some movies, just doesn't quite work. But I don't know. For me, I was watching it this afternoon, and I noticed it. Like it was so violent and so in your face that I noticed it like right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I usually don't pay much attention to the cinematography because I'm not really, I don't know that much about it. But for me, I don't know why it worked in this movie. I see your point, 100%. But for me, it worked.
This is personal preference.
Yeah, no doubt. And especially in those scenes whenever they're running through, trying to like get through the grocery store or get out of Israel, or like those scenes in particular, like those chase style scenes. That really worked really well for me. But Paul, what'd you think?
So I gave the section an 8 also. A lot of nothing really to add. I mean, the one thing you said of the music, it was, just that nothing too crazy, but every once in a while it'd be that just that whatever kind of, Inception soundtrack kind of thing, just to add that tension level. I did, the CGI, there were certain parts where, especially it seemed to be like when they focused on one zombie that was moving quickly, it was like it was really off. But I do think that some of the practical effects that they use, because like especially I feel like, don't like quote me on this, but I figure a lot, if not mostly all of the zombies in like the WHO scene were practical effects. Maybe not all of them.
I think they were.
A bunch of them were, because
I think the one that was real close,
because like that.
I think that one was
that one looked
100%.
good. Yeah. Like I was like, this is the way it should look.
Yeah.
But I mean, you obviously can't do that when like the scenes in Jerusalem where they're like, climbing up the wall. You can't do that practically.
7 million of them.
Yeah. So that's going to be CGI, and some of those scenes look like the shots look cool. Like some of the wide shots of like a helicopter like flying over and just seeing like the horde of zombies and things like that.
The
like,
magnitude
that was cool.
Yeah.
But I felt like they really did embrace the practical effectness. Like when he goes to South Korea and there's like he's like the leader's like explaining it all, and they go into that room that's like all burnt.
That was cool.
And then there's like a little finger that goes, I was like, that's cool. So like things like that. So I felt like that's why it kind of bumped it up a little bit. So I don't think I have any other crazy sections out of cinematic elements.
Good stuff. So for me, that's a total score of a 40 out of 50. What'd you guys give it?
It's a 32 for me.
Ooh, I gave it a 39.
Nice. So Paul and I are right there, and then Luke playing that Simon Cowell role.
Very much similar to the Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic score.
Actually,
60 whatever.
So you were So if Luke were to add up his score, it'd be a 64. So that's right at Metacritic.
Most of them,
I feel like a 40 for me is just about right. I like this movie a lot. It does some good things, some nice things, but it's not overly amazing, It's just one of those classic, like, good movies you can throw on anytime and just enjoy. But it's not like a go home and tell everybody about it and say how amazing it is. You know what I'm saying?
It was very much okay for me. Yeah. I mean, I like zombie movies a lot. So, I mean, you'll catch me watching this again, 100%.
Do you remember the score you gave I Am Legend? Any off the top of your head at all?
No, but I'll look at it real quick.
I can't remember if you had it in the 30s or 40s, but so Paul, real quick, meta question time.
Yeah, I've got a couple. AJ, did you have any?
Yeah, I wrote down like 5 or 6. Some of them are real short, quick answers. Some of them are a little bit longer, but
37 for I Am Legend.
37.
Why don't you do a couple of quick ones, and then I'll go, and then you can finish.
Okay, top 5 Brad Pitt movie. We already said no. All of us said no, I think. Or Paul, did you have it at 5?
It was an honorable mention for me.
Yeah, I think we all had it in no. I had an honorable mention as well. Top 5 apocalypse / zombie movie.
No.
I think I feel like we did this list or something or other. I think for me it is.
Yeah, I forget where exactly I had it. I know that I like I Am Legend more, and I know that I like Book of Eli more.
Yeah,
it's not a zombie movie, but it's an apocalyptic movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not my favorite, but I feel like it was. I'm pretty sure it was on there. I feel like we did that at some point.
Apocalypse.
I don't know.
Should there be a sequel / would you watch a sequel?
Yeah, I agree. Both points.
I would, yeah, and I know they're talking about it. They've been talking about it for a long time. I think Brad Pitt, because Brad Pitt also produced it.
Yeah.
So I think he's just hasn't been ready to do it or in a place to do it.
Hey, so question real quick. So at the end of the movie, they're like, "Oh no, if he gets something out of the left bin, then he's definitely gonna die." And that, so they built that up like he picked the wrong thing. He's like, "Tell my family I love them" and everything.
Yeah.
At the end, it just shows the lady giving him a shot, and you're just like, "Oh, I assume he's okay."
Yeah. I would assume that he lived.
Yeah. I just feel like they could have made it a bigger deal that like they're like, "So which one did you choose?" He like, "I chose measles," or something like that.
Right. Yeah. I think you're led to believe that with the taking of a shot in his arm, he survived.
Yeah.
So
I think AJ glitched out on us.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Oh, yep, he did. Let's finish this together, Paul.
Okay.
AJ glitched out of the Zoom, everybody.
Gosh.
He might join us.
This wonderful pandemic that we're living in right now, isn't it crazy? Of how this is how we're having to record now. So yeah, for those of you who are watching the video, you've probably seen AJ glitch a couple of times. Those of you listening, it's probably been pretty smooth. But yeah, we've been recording in like my man cave at my house, and with this whole thing of, especially my wife being a nurse, we just decided, we were like, oh man, we just should really not meet because AJ has 2 kids, and we're like, I'm not that afraid of it, but at the same time I was like, well, okay.
Gotta follow the rules a little bit.
Yep, gotta follow the rules. All right.
What meta questions do you have?
So I've got. It ties in. What parts of the movie made you think of our current situation that we're in? Like for me, one of the big ones was it wasn't as bad, because I made a joke about it. Was when they go to the store.
Yeah.
And like all the shelves are bare, and like the lights like flickering and running through, and he like shoots a guy, and a cop was like, "Nah, you're good."
Yeah, no, that was the exact moment I thought of as well, because hey, look who's joined us. AJ's sort of back. Yeah.
But yeah, he's coming back. He's getting there.
Yeah,
but yeah.
That was. I was looking for toilet paper in people's shopping baskets, like see what they were grabbing. Like when they were running throughout the store, I was like, "There's got to be toilet paper in there."
Oh yeah, for sure. But
total pandemonium.
And I made a joke about it too. I was like, because my wife has been, since she's, like I said, she has to go to work. She's a nurse. She's been the one going to the grocery store too, and so I was like, so it could be worse. The shelves could look like this, and the lights flickering and stuff like that. So.
There could be a guy with a gun in the pharmacy section. You don't know.
There could be a guy with a gun.
AJ, you there? Maybe. Yeah, I can hear you now. There you are.
Oh.
AJ's rejoined us,
I
think.
hear me?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Dude, this has never happened before.
Dude, it's okay, man. We were making a couple of jokes about it. I asked my question of, what parts of the movie made you think of our current predicament that we're in, and we were talking about the grocery store scene.
Yeah, no doubt. If that scene had just included an aisle of toilet paper instead of the pharmacy.
Exactly.
Yeah. The cops running at him. He's like
bloodbath.
And I think there was a little bit at the very beginning, like you said, with like the newsreel. There was a couple of things that they said that I was like, yeah. And one of them was like, and the president tells everybody to stay home. I was like, oh yeah, there we go. Yep.
I liked how they killed the president and the vice president and whoever else, like early on in the movie. And
they're like, yeah, they're dead.
It didn't become like a thing. It was just like, oh yeah, by the way, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Did you ask any other questions while I was gone? Sorry.
No, I tried to
make fun of you for a while.
I tried to fill some time.
I don't know what's happening. This has not happened ever before on any Zoom call. Dude, and we recorded the other night and there was no problems at all.
No, you're good, dude. All right, so I'll ask my last question. If Brad Pitt would not have been in the main role of this movie, would this movie have been as good?
Yes, because it would have been Tom Cruise.
Oh. Long-haired Tom Cruise?
That's right.
I saw that Leonardo DiCaprio, actually, his studio wanted to buy this movie, and Brad Pitt outbid them. And so it could have been Leo.
Huh. I think it would have been as good if they had someone else.
Honestly, I don't think Brad Pitt necessarily was the perfect fit for the role, but he killed it. Like, he did a great job. Yeah. But you get any big name actor in that movie, and I think the movie probably still works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It could have been Adam Driver.
So yeah, like what if, like, let's say it wasn't another big name. Let's say if it was John Boyega.
No, probably not.
Yeah. You guys haven't seen Attack the Block, then.
That's why I said his name. Was because of that movie you were talking about the other day.
Man.
Ben from Star Wars isn't big.
Meh, not yet.
You got any more,
that was my last question. What you got, AJ?
So, okay, for me, first of all, I read a little bit online about the director, and he wanted to make the movie rated R, but the studio didn't want him to. They wanted to make it PG-13.
Zombie movie should be rated R.
You think it would have been better if it would have rated R? Like, I know there were a lot of shots where they took the violence off screen. They covered it up subtly with something else.
Yeah.
Him killing zombies was almost always off screen. The guy killing himself after he gets bit is off screen. Like, a lot of those types of moments are off screen.
I think that's when I watched the rated R or the unrated version, there was a lot more. In yours, I think this was when he was in the WHO facility at the end, the WHO facility, which is funny because Peter Capaldi, one of Doctor Who, or the last Doctor Who.
Yeah,
he works for the WHO facility. Yeah. But there's a scene where Brad Pitt like stomps on a zombie's face. Like, did you guys see that or anything?
It's off screen.
Yeah.
Okay, for me it was on screen.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it's off screen.
So mine was a little bit bloodier, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, for me, I don't know. Would it have been better? Maybe. But then again, I feel like that's the problem for me with horror movies is they lean too much on like the goriness.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like, oh, I don't like that kind of thing. It's just they lean on it too much. Like, yeah, when you kill something, it's going to bleed, or it's going to, like, when you shoot a zombie with a shotgun, it's going to kind of explode.
Yeah.
But, like, do I need to see gratuitous, just, kicking a zombie in the head? And I'm not sure that's how the scene went.
There's a realistic limit, too.
I don't need that.
Yeah.
But if they did it well, would it have hurt it? No. But if they had done it wrong, I wouldn't have.
I think it would have made considerably less money if they would have gone the rated R route.
Well, you eliminate part of your audience.
You eliminate a huge part of your audience. I mean, so that's one of the reasons why no rated R movies ever won or ever made $1 billion before until
Deadpool,
until Joker and Deadpool.
Or Joker.
Yeah.
I don't know if Deadpool did.
I think Joker did for sure. I can't remember if Deadpool did or not. But I remember there had never been a rated R movie that made $1 billion until this year or last year. So anyway, that was just a fun question that I wrote down. Something that was interesting to me, which isn't necessarily a question. I guess it can become a question. is whenever the Israeli guy is talking about how he figured everything out before everybody else did. He talks about what they call the doctrine of the 10th man. And so if all 9 people in front of you are saying the same thing and agreeing on the same thing, it's the responsibility and the duty of the 10th person to assume that they're all wrong.
Yeah.
I thought that was really, really interesting and really, really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not necessarily a question. I just thought that was a fun little, really cool thing that was in the movie.
No, yeah, I thought the same. He was talking. I was like, man, that's kind of cool. It's smart in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a very very Israeli thing to do. I mean, and you know, he told you why they did that. Like, you know, with you know, we didn't think we'd be put into internment camps and things like, and a couple other reasons and things like that. And I was like, oh man, this totally makes sense. And so just that level of, you know, skepticism, you know, but I thought it was really smart at the same time to be like, cause when I remember watching it and they, you know, South Korea, the guy's like, oh yeah, we got it from some Israeli email or communique or whatever. Yeah. And then he's like flying in and you're like, wait, there's actually people talking to him in the tower. And I was like, what is this wall? And like, it was just impressive and things like that. So I thought it was cool.
The CIA guy tells them that Israel's winning.
Yeah.
How are they winning? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, my last question is about the ending. And for me, it didn't bother me. The ending didn't bother me. But I didn't necessarily think it was as strong as it could have been. Because this movie has so many really cool, big, in-your-face scenes. The last scene just feels very quiet and understated.
Which scene is that? Are you talking about the one where they freeze frame on him hugging his family?
No, whenever he's whenever he's like injecting himself and walking back.
He walks through.
Yeah, like that was like the climax of the movie. And I don't know.
He takes a sip of like a Pepsi or whatever.
Yeah, like
that was a very Brad Pitt thing.
Yeah, it didn't feel very climactic. That scene felt very like product placement, like super forced into a movie. It was. How much money did Pepsi pay them to be in that? Anyway, I don't know. I felt like that scene in the movie was very anticlimactic. Like it didn't necessarily work for me. Like it wasn't this big cool moment that I was wanting. It worked in the sense of, like you guys said, in originality. Like it was a different ending. They didn't like find the cure and save the day, right? They just like help people like make it easier to fight back.
I think it would have been more tense if there was more zombies in the facility, but there was like 20 or something like that.
Yeah, they say 80 at one point.
Oh, 80, yeah. But there, I think if it was just like jam-packed and he was just able to like squeeze through and stuff, I think it would have been a little bit more climactic. But I don't know. I was okay with it for like what it was. I do agree that it wasn't like your typical like big hero moment or anything.
Yeah.
With most, I'm trying to think of one. Well, I guess I Am Legend kind of does. Most zombie movies that I can think of, you don't find a cure,
right?
Or a solution or a whatever. Whereas, and like with I Am Legend, you never saw it really work either. Whereas this, for me, I didn't mind it at all. I liked it because you actually saw the plan come together. Like because he wasn't even sure if it was going to work. Like to him, it was a 50-50 shot of, I'm going to open this door and this zombie's going to eat my face off and I'm going to die. Like,
and I see your point, and I agree with you. Like I said, I liked it. It didn't bother me. It was just very anticlimactic in the actual like true sense of the word.
I get it. Yeah.
Maybe
like, I Am Legend like ends with like him pulling the grenade and like, you know, blowing up all the zombies. Like that's like a really, really cool ending.
Running shoulder first into the other like leader zombie.
Yeah, like that's a cool ending. But and that's like I Am Legend's a great movie, so it's hard to compare the two because I mean I Am Legend's going to win the comparison. At least in my opinion, it's going to win the comparison.
Yeah. I mean, I was cool with the ending, I guess, to answer your question.
The alternate ending, if you guys want to hear about it, is so Brad Pitt, instead of crash landing in Wales, they crash land in Russia. and basically they join up with this like militia in Moscow and have this like huge like epic like battle in Moscow, like humans versus zombies. And that's like how the movie ends.
See,
so they shot all of that stuff and then they had to cut it. And if you notice at the very end of the movie, they do like the montage, like epilogue of all the people like fighting back. And there's a couple of shots of that footage from Moscow of them like going to town on some zombies in like
funny.
The middle of town or whoever. But so anyway, that was the original ending. And this ending is better than that ending. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, for a zombie movie, for a big, cool blockbuster, in your face, tense, urgent movie, the ending just kind of felt like, I don't know.
That's what we were saying.
I like the camouflage thing a lot, though. I think that was really cool and very original.
They didn't cure it; they just found a way to deal with it for the current.
Yeah, very unique
time.
Well, and I like how they showed different strategies people were using to fight back. Like they lured all the zombies into like some football stadium at one point and like nuked it.
Nuked the heck out of it.
Yeah, they did a bunch of other things too. I forget exactly off the top of my head.
Flamethrower off the roof.
Flamethrower stuff. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was cool. Like the epilogue scene was really cool. I liked the monologue with him, and they left it open ended if they ever wanted to do a sequel. I don't think they're going to, but they left it.
I don't think they will either. I kind of hope they do because this felt like half of the story, really.
Yeah, I think they're a little late in the game. It might be one of those that comes out 10 years after the original one. And
and you could even make a movie based on the same storyline without Brad Pitt's character because his character's kind of maybe not involved anymore after this point.
Yeah.
It wouldn't do as well in the box office without Brad Pitt. But,
obviously.
What else? Any other thoughts you guys have?
That's all I got.
That's all I got, dude.
What movie are we doing next?
Next week, yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Did we decide?
I wasn't prepared.
Did we decide? I don't even know.
I don't think we decided. Let me see what's on the calendar real quick. Oh, that's not the calendar.
I've got, let me see here.
Oh, Logan is what I have next.
Logan's
next?
Oh, or it's either Darkest Hour or Logan. We just need to decide.
Yeah.
So everybody at home, watch both of them. Why not?
Yeah. You have time. Come on.
Yeah. You're watching all this Netflix and chill, watching Tiger King. Come on. Just take that time you watch Tiger King and watch Darkest Hour and Logan.
Yeah. You could. I mean, I basically told you the whole plot of the first 3 episodes. So.
Yeah. There you go.
So cool. We'll decide that later, and we'll.
Sounds good.
You know, but that's all I got. Yeah. If that's it, well, then we'll end the episode here.
All right.
Cool. Well, thank you everyone for listening to episode 43 of Two Dudes in a Movie. If you haven't watched World War Z, then we just spoiled it for you. I'm sorry, but we'll see you next week for either Darkest Hour or Logan.